Greetings, and for today's video, I will be doing another list. Well, I wouldn't say another list because I think I've only ever done one list before in this channel, and that was of the sort of my favorite gold cards. So kind of leading up into the video. So with the release of Iron Judgment, came in a new mechanic, and of course those are the defenders. Honestly, the defenders have been one of the most, well, I wouldn't say broken. There's a reason why there's only one defender per faction. So that's sort of what the video is about today, is I'm sort of gonna rank the defenders. I don't want to say top six because there's only six of them. But like, I'm just ranking the defenders sort of based on their power and probably their usage. There will be a little bit of meta consideration put into here because obviously some defender cards are used way more than others, and for good reason. So obviously this is just sort of an opinion video. So I'm expecting you guys for sure. If you guys don't agree with my list necessarily, it would be great if you guys could comment, and please leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. The thing is, I know this is the second video in a row where I haven't done a Gwent deck guide, and again, that's just simply because I feel like a lot of the decks that are being played in the meta are sort of like the same. This is kind of the same decks you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of Mystic Echoes, you're seeing a lot of Assimilate, you're seeing a lot of Tactical Seizing, you're seeing Death Wish. Death Wish might be the next deck video I should do next because I haven't done one yet. But in all honesty, like a lot of the decks you're probably gonna see me do is, you know, if they're not like themed or mini decks or gimmick decks, then it's going to be meta decks that you're going to find, you know, in the ladder. So for today's video, I'm just gonna go through, I've already mentioned, the 6 defenders and sort of my ranking, like from my favorite. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the best or the most powerful to you guys, which is why like I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on them. And yeah, so let's just get straight to it. So I have at number 6. So obviously I'm on the side here because I want to show the pictures right about here. So at number 6, I have the defender from the Skellige faction, the Covenant of Steel. So to kind of remind you guys as to what it does, it is a 7. Well, you guys can, oops, you guys can see it for. Actually, you guys wouldn't see that. Never mind. So the Covenant of Steel, well, this is just more reminder for me. So it's defender, of course, with 7 power, and at Berserk 6, at the end of your turn, gain 1 armor. So this is a progressive defender where it gets stronger when it gets damage initially, and that's sort of good for self wound. But the thing is, self wound only works like once. So another big thing to consider when I'm ranking defenders is how many engines are there sort of working with Skellige, and the best engines that this card really defends are the ship, the armored Drakkar ship, the Svalbard priests, the Svalbard cultists, the Haemei protectors. That's sort of the main core that this defender would be defending. Other than that, it doesn't really see much use. Like a lot of the main Skellige deck in the meta, which is not even that high, it's second wind, and you really wouldn't see a Covenant of Steel. The 9 for 7, I think that's the reason why it's 9 for 7, and the Berserk only needs to be at 1 damage for it to activate its ability of getting armor. But the thing is, again, because of how often targeted defenders tend to get, the Covenant of Steel there's really not a lot of reason to put Covenant of Steel unless you're running an engine heavy Skellige deck, which they're not really known for. They're well known for filtering their decks with this card, self wound. And I guess you could also put Covenant of Steel if you're trying to protect like the Gur 2 Blades or the Uncrate Swordsman, Swordmaster. I don't know if that's Uncrate, but it's a Swordmaster if you're trying to defend it for damage, Skellige. But just because simply of the lack of a better word, not enough engines in the Skellige faction for the Covenant of Steel to defend, and even then, it only needs to be damaged once, which doesn't benefit self wound all too well anyway. That's why Covenant of Steel is unfortunately at the bottom of the list. Coming in at number 5, I'm like clicking because I want to see the cards for myself too before I start talking about them. Coming in at number 5, we do have the scoia'tael defender, Figus Merluzzo. So this card deploys 2 Ruddy Dwarves in the row, And in all honesty, it's really just meant for dwarves control. Like, you can't really run an all elven deck with Fidges Merluzzo. You have to either A, play a pure dwarf control, or B, you have to do a mix, which is what Mystic Echo Harmony is pretty much doing. It's mixing them both. Not to mention, it's not the most powerful card, which means A, it can actually be somewhat easily removed, unlike some of the other cards on the list, of course, because I think this is the weakest defender in terms of like raw, well, not in raw power, but like, you know, it has to require sort of outside cards to, you know, to get it boosted. Its ability to summon Rowdy Dwarves is good, of course, if you're trying to combine it with Zoltan to get it to transform into two Dwarven Berserkers, which is good. But again, it's very reliant on sort of other combo cards, whereas the other defenders sort of are being relied on to protect the engines. So this card is mostly meant to produce more cards to transform into engines or for the control. So it is, I know like a lot of Mystic Echo players are gonna disagree with this being so low, but I'm also sort of looking at the overall sort of power and use of the card, not just so much what it does in the meta. This card is actually very powerful in Mystic Dwarves, Mystic Echo. So obviously that's why it's used quite a bit, but in just terms of overall, because I also will like, you know, it's what you only get one defender per faction. Like, if you can cover as much of the faction as possible, that's what I see is a very good defender card. So that's just sort of what my criteria is based on. Obviously the criteria could be different if you're basing it just off of meta uses. Obviously this card would be near the top, and I would not disagree with you on that at all. So coming in at number 3, we have the Monsters Defender. No, number 4. Sorry, coming in at number 4, we have the Monsters Defender, the Cave Troll. So this card is pretty strong actually because of its armor. So having it at 4 armor actually can defend the Cave Troll pretty well. 7 power is good with the monster's ability to go tall. So if you're running Thrive units, if you're running Dominance, Consume, the Cave Troll is good to have to protect all your Thrive units, because the Thrive units for all the monsters are actually pretty weak. Well, obviously they have to be weak starting up first, because that's kind of how they get stronger. So the Cave Troll is actually pretty good for defending, because it's pretty relied on to protect the Thrive engines. So it's pretty good. The reason why it's this low on the list is because it doesn't have an additional ability, which is not bad at all, honestly. Like, it's just its base stats and its raw power is actually already good with what Monsters is known for. Is eating each other up, thriving off of it, and yeah. So that's Cave Troll number 4. It's a pretty short explanation for the Cave Troll, just because there's not much to it, and you kind of have to think about, you know, what Monsters is known for, and based on the raw stats, it's good enough with what Monsters is meant to do. Coming in at number 3, we have the Donimir of Troy. Now, the reason why Donimir of Troy is not ranked as high as maybe what some of you might think, and the reason why I would think that some of you might think that he should be ranked higher, is because of the Northern Realms' ability to sort of rack engines over and over. Like, Northern Realms is like the faction of engines. There's just a crap ton of engines in the Northern Realms faction. You'd expect that this card is so heavily relied on, simply because, you know, Northern Realms has a lot of engines. It has the Visigoths, it has the Caedwini Sergeants, it has the Ballista, I believe. You know, like, I'm just naming random engines, like the Lyrian Arbalist. So, you know, all those engines, all the orders, Charge Givers, Dandelion, Dandelion with the Give Charger. So yeah, so there's just a lot of engines on the Northern Realms faction, so Donimir of Troy should be higher. Not to mention it has a shield, so obviously it protects it from damage for the first try. So that actually makes it even more powerful. Not to mention that it has armor. So it's like, what could go wrong with this? Why is this so like low on the list, you'd say? Donimir of Troy, I would say, is the best pure defender card. And I emphasize the word pure because that's really all it's doing. It has a shield, which means you can combine it with the damn sorceress, but like, you do not want to combine it with the damn sorceress, because you don't want Donimir of Troy to lose its shield, because it is meant to protect the engines. So it is ranked high because in terms of actually defending engines, Northern Realms has the most engines in my, like, the most like frequently played engines in my opinion. But the other two on the top of the list are just, I think they just get played more, and their, you know, utilities are just a bit better than Donimir's. So that's why, but Donamir is pretty much dead in the middle of the list, which is not a bad place to be, considering there's only 6 defenders. So yeah, this one, in my opinion, might be the most controversial placement from some of you. Maybe not. I'm not quite sure. Number 2, this might surprise some of you, is Azar Javed from the Syndicate faction. Why on earth is Azar Javed ranked number 2? He is Syndicate. Syndicate is the top of the tier right now in terms of meta play. I'll totally understand. Being able to summon 2 defenders instead of 1. Again, I understand. So having 2 defenders is actually pretty powerful because a lot of cards tend to target just 1 unit. So which pretty much means you have to either A, rely on pinging the scarabs to get rid of more than 1, or B, use up 2 resources. And honestly, using up 2 resources for 2 scarabs, there's only 2 power, not to mention they give you 4 coins, is not good. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're going to do that. Of course, you could lock them, but obviously that won't get rid of the defender. It would most likely have to be I don't know. I still have to test if it like lock gets rid of defender. I think I've been told that that's what it does, but I'm not quite sure just yet. So it either needs to be purified, it needs to be moved, or it needs to be taken control of, let's say by Swears or by a Philippa. But why again, why would you want to use a Philippa? So the scarab is like, it's so low that you don't want to spend like your seizing cards for a power swing. They're not reliant on that, but at the same time, they're very strong as defenders that you need to absolutely get rid of them by all means necessary, because Syndicate just has some pretty strong engines, like the Dire Mutated Hound that needs to be protected, the Uwald Bersodes that needs to be defected, Winch Hunter Executioners, the Sly Seductresses, pretty much a Cult Cut Purse, I believe that's called, the one that gets summoned by a Horse and Senior. I mean, it doesn't purely, like, there's a card in its own. Oh, Cut Purse, I forgot what the name of it is, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So you just need to get rid of these scarabs in order to get to those engine units. But the reason why it's at number 2 is because it's very rare that your opponent would want to like destroy them, because they don't want to give you more coins. So they do their best to either take control of them or purify them, you know, or lock them without them giving you the benefit of what you're given, because even if they get destroyed, they still benefit you. So that's the only reason why it's at number 2, is because people just try way too hard to sort of avoid getting rid of the scarabs, you know, and triggering their death wish. But other than that, there's a reason why Azar Javed is in pretty much the top Syndicate deck in the meta right now. That's why scarabs are always they're always such a pain to sort of deal with, unless of course you're playing a bleed monsters deck, or if you're just gonna put Executioner, Witch Hunter Executioner's ability on them, then yes, that gets rid of them. But again, that's kind of the only way you can get rid of them, through bleeding. So yeah, that's number 2 on the list. We have Azar Javed. And number 1 on the list, as you guys are probably expecting by now, I have Fion Vargurnal. Now, this is somewhat, I wouldn't say biased, but like my frequent use of Nilfgaard decks as of late sort of puts this card a little bit higher up on my favorites list, because of the way it works with Assimilate. Not tactical, because it has to be in the hand for the tactical to work, but its ability to sort of boost itself. It pretty much turns itself into a 7/4, pretty much the same power as the Cave Troll. So it kind of already has that. Not to mention, this card works well if you're trying to run sort of a soldier, which by the way, Nilfgaard should be able to have a sort of deck that works just with soldiers, because new Iron Judgment cards did support soldiers more for the Nilfgaard, but I think they're sort of missing that one extra engine that sort of puts it to the next level. I think that's just all it's really missing. So its ability to play Battle Preparation is going to work well for Assimilate, because it's a card that's not in your deck, and Assimilate, again, is a deck that's up there in the meta as well. And unlike Azar Javed, this card, you kind of get the full benefit of this card. When I say full benefit, is like, again, when you play your Scarabs, it's not likely that they're going to want to destroy them and give you the 2 coins unless they absolutely had no choice, but they try to avoid it as best as they possibly could. Not to mention, a 7/4 defender is actually pretty strong. Now, obviously, the weakness to that is this card can get reset, and if it does get reset, it's a big deal because it only becomes a 4 power card, which actually makes it pretty vulnerable to damage output card. So that's kind of something that you want to be wary of. But not to mention, if you choose not to give it to Fion Vargurnal, you can always give it to the Arnaid Crossbowmen, I'm saying the battle preparation. And then you can always boost Vion Vargurnal. Let's say, for example, if you wanted to use the tactical advantage, if you get first turn, there's just other cards, other ways for you to be able to boost Fion. But having that extra boost from this card's ability is actually pretty good, because not only can you just use it on Fion, but you can also use it on other engines as well, especially those that require protection, because maybe they're powerful engines that you want to protect. So yeah, and the thing with Nilfgaard is they don't exactly require, well, I wouldn't say protection, because there's actually enough engines to sort of compensate. Not to mention, they're more popular for disrupting other players' decks and sort of manipulating the field to their advantage, which is what's pretty fun about Nilfgaard. And the fun part is Fion is not a disruption card at all. It doesn't really disrupt, which I think is a pretty decent addition to that. So yeah, that's that's sort of the list for today. Those are the 6 defenders in Gwent, the Witcher card game ranked. Let me know what you guys would change on the list, of course, in the comment section below. I would love hearing your guys' thoughts. And I know that this channel is kind of small, and I totally understand that. So I don't expect this to get as many views like the deck guide videos that I post up, because I also share them on the Play Gwent site and also on the Gwent Up site as well. So this one I don't really share as much. I would like to. It's just a matter of finding a platform as to where I could share them. I'll always leave my Instagram and Twitter on the description below. If you guys definitely do want to follow, please do. So every month, this is the last thing I'm going to say before I leave. Sorry, I'm kind of blathering here. So for this month's been kind of interesting, because I'm waiting on an email right now, and I can't exactly say what that email is going to be until I get it, because I don't want to say it and then be like, oh, it didn't show up. So it's like, I kind of worried you guys for nothing. That's kind of the reason why I haven't started streaming just yet. But a stream schedule will come by the end of November. I will definitely have a stream schedule fixed and ready to go. That'll all be sort of mentioned in the November update video of the month that I'm going to be bringing up. I did one for October, but I'm doing one for November as well, just to sort of keep you guys up to date as to how I'm doing at the end of each month, just because I'd like to get you guys sort of involved as to what kind of content I should make and stuff like that. I enjoy making videos like these, like the top list, the rank lists, the custom cards list. Don't worry, deck guide videos are still coming. I may add an extra day or 2 for uploading, just so I can accommodate for more content for you guys. So anyway, other than that, this is Enzo signing out. I'll catch you guys in the next one.